mean, I live on a farm. I don't know. It's kind of the lifestyle that I've grown up with. Just being able to know that everything's not going to go okay, and you're going to mess up here and there. But trials and tribulations only make you stronger. And if you didn't have them, then you're not going to go anywhere. So you have to be able to fail.
That was Cole Boone today on the Running Effect podcast. I'm thrilled to welcome on one of the fastest juniors, not just in the country, but of all time, onto the podcast today. Get inside his training, his mindset, his future ambitions, the whole 9 yards. Cole brings an unparalleled level of wisdom and insights in today's conversation. Shout out his parents, because this man can speak. He can speak eloquently for a junior in high school. He brings a lot of wisdom to the table that I don't hear in even a lot of my conversations, much less with a high school junior. He's run 220.14 in the 1K, which is a national indoor high school national record. He won his first national title at the New Balance Indoor National Meet this past March. And he's got a lot of big plans for this outdoor season, as well as for the rest of his time in high school and beyond. I love this conversation. If you guys enjoy it, share with a friend, a teammate, someone who you think would find value and benefit from it. Give us a 5-star review as a little cherry on top. Takes 5 to 10 seconds. And make sure you are following the podcast wherever you listen so that you never miss another episode. Without further ado, enjoy my conversation with national record holder, national champion, and the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Cole Boone. Mr. Cole Boone, welcome to the Running Effect podcast. How are you doing this morning?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing excellent, man. Really stoked to have you on the podcast. I have to say, I think a year ago, me and other people, not to sound like a hater, didn't really know who you were. And I feel like you've absolutely broken off onto the scene over the past year. What would you attribute this to, and how fun has the recent progression and success been?
Oh yeah, it's been a long story, to be honest with you. About a year ago, if you were to ask me, if I were gonna go win the national title, I'd just laugh in your face. So, but I don't know. It's just a matter of kind of putting all the little stuff together. I took a really serious indoor season, and I went to a lot of big races, but figured out some different training stuff, like switched the training up, got a new coach. I started doing all the little stuff off the track, like dry needling. Not a real big fan of that because I don't like needles, but it's been working out. Doing that, a lot of physical therapy and strength training development, and just putting all those little pieces together, kind of make it all work, and it ended up kind of going good towards the end of the season. So
amazing, man. I think a lot of people, or I've heard on the podcast before, there's no such thing as overnight breakthroughs. It's just eventually the culmination of everything. For you, what's your perspective on that? Of a lot of people see your success and maybe ask a question like myself of what'd you do in the last few months? What'd you do in the last year? When in reality, you probably know the amount of work you were doing 4 or 5 years ago that built into these performances we're seeing.
yeah, so that's a good question. To be honest, the physical aspect, it's kind of been there. There's been some development in the last year that's kind of helped me get there, but the big attribute to putting all those little pieces together, like I was saying, is the mentality of it, I guess. So to be honest, I've always been like a nervous guy going into races. I'm always a little bit anxious. I get this weird feeling in my gut, and sometimes it'll affect how I race even. But I don't know, just kind of figuring myself out. I got with a sports psychologist. He's helping me through it, kind of not finding ways to get rid of it because you're not ever gonna stop being nervous, but finding better ways to kind of look at it and have a better perspective on how to work your way through it and use it rather than try to hide and shy away from it, because that's what really would break me down. But I don't know, I think towards the end of the season I was really able to wrap my head around things and kind of just relax and not be so anxious going into races. Just know that I have a job to do. I'm prepared for it. All I have to do is be able to push myself to 100% mentally, and I'll be there. So, yeah.
What percent of recent success would you attribute to that mental side versus that physical side?
70% probably. I'd say it's a big part of it. Because, I mean, I've always trained hard. I mean, I'll go out every day and work as hard as I can. I'll push my body to the limits, but if my mentality's not there, then it's kind of hard to make my body follow. So
I think in these races, specifically indoor 800s, they are competitive to the core. and you watch those races and it's like grit, and every guy wants to beat the other guy standing on the start line. And I think you need to have like that dog in you. Where do you feel like that's come for you, and where has the competitor in you come from, and how important do you think that is when you approach these championship races of just like, I gotta want to win this more than the other guys standing on the start line?
Yeah. Yeah, I've always been a really competitive guy. I guess as a kid, I would always get upset if somebody beat me in a race or a game, and I always thought it was like a bad um character, but I don't know. It's you gotta find a good medium. I don't try to pay too much attention to the other people around me, but at the same time, at those high level races, you have to, and you have to be competitive, and you have to want it more than anybody. But I think the biggest part that I try to focus on going into the race is like my why. Like if I can make my why stronger than somebody else, then I can make my body do whatever it needs to do to win. So
What would you say to someone listening who is early on into their high school career, or honestly, they could be a marathoner and 60 years old, but they want to like transform their running, become better in the next year? What would be some steps, like tool sets that you'd have them walk through in this next year to take those necessary steps to be better than they ever thought they could be?
yeah, I'd say you have to make it a lifestyle because I mean up until this last indoor season, to be honest, I mean, the reason why nobody even heard of me before then was because I wasn't doing everything that I probably should have been doing. And it's not just what you do on the track because anybody can go out and run 12 400s and, but you have to do the eating, you have to do the sleeping, you have to make sure you're taking all the vitamins and all that. You have to make sure you're recovering well. Recovery is a big part of it. The mentality side, you have to build that because if you just sit there and let it linger, your body will outgrow your mentality. And that's a weird and dangerous imbalance because, I mean, even for me in this indoor season, towards the end it went better, but during the season, I was hitting a couple of these big races and wasn't quite getting out of what I wanted to out of those races. And I just, I don't know, it was bad. I went downhill. I didn't feel good about my running. I didn't want to go compete. I was like coming off the track, and at one point, well, the turning point for my season really was I came off the track. I think I was in Boston, and I walked up to my dad, and I felt really sick, but I was laying on the ground. I was like, Dad, I hate this. And to sit there and even hear myself say that, much less my dad had to hear me say it, that's running is something I want to do for as long as I possibly can. I want to go to the Olympics, and this has been my dream and my goal for almost as long as I can remember. And for me to go up and say I hate this was like, oh my gosh, like we need to figure something out right now because we're gonna lose it. And I don't know. From then on, it was funny. I was on the way back home actually, and I went to the airport. I had to get a meal from the one of these little like hibachi shops, I think. But I got a fortune cookie, and it said or it was a Chinese restaurant, but I got a fortune cookie that said it's time to try something new, and I was like blown away by that. I was like, oh my gosh, like that's so cool that I got to see that after that race. And that's when I kind of locked in on my mentality. I went home, got the sports psych, started working on myself mentally and bringing that extra piece together. And once I was able to really find that calmness and peace within myself and ability to be able to just go out and run my own race and not worry about all the rest of the noise, and I was really able to kind of reach my 110%. I was able to push my body even further because I was in the right headspace. So I would say to tell somebody what they need to do if they want to grow substantially is they need to find all the little pieces within their lifestyle and put them together, whether that's mentality, recovery, sleep, eating and drinking, making sure you're getting everything out of the workout, no cheating, all that. So it's
I
a
love it,
it's
man.
a lifestyle.
Yeah, such good insights there. Speaking on the "it's a lifestyle" quote there, at what point do you think the lifestyle became attractive enough for you to want to live it, or the desire for that lifestyle started to happen? Because I think a lot of people, like, they know what you said is true of like you need the lifestyle to see the results, but they don't want the lifestyle, and so they never participate it, and then they just settle for mediocre.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point because I mean, living a lifestyle like that is hard because sometimes you don't get what you want out of it and you're putting 90% of your time into this thing, and if it's not working out, then it's just hard to keep yourself motivated and keep yourself driven. And I think it kind of goes back to the why, really, to stay motivated. You have to have a strong reason that you want to do this. Even on the bad days, you have to want to go out and push yourself, knowing that one day it'll pay off. One day you'll be happier, you'll run a better time, and all of that. I go by the rule of thirds. An old coach told me this. I had a really bad workout one day, and I was laying on the ground, rolling around, and she came up. She was like, "Rule of thirds. You have to have a bad day, an okay day, and a good day." And every time I have a bad day, I just think about that rule, knowing that, okay, maybe the next day I'm going to try to make it an okay day. Maybe the next day I'm going to make it a good day. Working back and forth and being okay with not being perfect because, we're all human. We're going to have bad days. There's no way around it. So you just got to find your why and know that even on those bad days, you want to push yourself. That way, one day it will work out. So.
Off of that, what would you say to someone out there who struggles with perfectionism, specifically when it comes to their training or diet, or they don't give themselves the grace to have a bad day?
We're in the same boat. I had to learn it too, and I don't know. I think that's the beautiful thing about track and field is that you can you can try to be perfect, but you know that one day you will fall short of your expectation, and that's okay because you have to be okay with it because there's no way around it. If you can't find a way to be okay with it, then you're going to drive your mentality into the ground. And I feel like that's kind of where I was headed towards in the middle of that indoor season. I was looking for this perfection because I was looking around and you have high schoolers running sub 4 miles and going to the Olympics and doing all these big things, and I was looking at myself saying, why am I not there? And I at first, I don't know, it was a lot of pressure trying to be perfect all the time and try to make sure I have nothing but good days. But I think when it really worked out, it was because I was able to find that peace with being not perfect all the time. Being
Mm.
able to have a good day and look at it like, yeah, that sucked. But you know what? Tomorrow's going to be a better day. And I have so much more time to make this perfect. And it's going to be a process because if it were easy, everybody would do it. And it's just, it's not that simple. So you have to take it step by step and trust God's plan. That was another big part. I grew in my faith, I think, a lot this indoor season, thinking, God, I trust you. If it's not this race, it'll be another race. So I'm okay. It's your plan. I'm going to run my hardest. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't. So just being able to find that, peace, I guess. So.
Everything you said there to me indicated a high level of self-awareness that you have, and I think honesty is crucial for high-level athletes to get to that point of being a high-level athlete where it's like, I know what I'm lacking and I know what I need more of. You can fill out that times 10. Where do you think that self-honesty and self-awareness comes from, and how crucial do you think that's been for you to then take the steps to be great? Because you can't be more disciplined or eat better or train more or work on your mindset if you're not aware that you need to do those things in the first place.
Mm. Yeah, to be honest, I think it's the way I grew up, really. I don't know. I've always been able to keep myself from blowing my head up too much and thinking I'm doing everything right. Why isn't it working? I'm able to kind of sit back and really evaluate, okay, I had a bad day. What caused it? What can I do better? And I think it was the way I was raised, really, the mentality of being able to look back and make sure I have all my steps right. That way I know what I need to work on in the future. And I feel like my dad and my mom really contributed to that a lot because all the way up, I mean, I live on a farm. It's just, I don't know, it's kind of the lifestyle that I've grown up with, just being able to know that everything's not going to go okay and you're going to mess up here and there, but trials and tribulations only make you stronger. And if you didn't have them, then you're not going to go anywhere. So you have to be able to fail and be okay with it just so you know that I have somewhere to go from here. Because if you have everything perfect all the time, then you hit that top and you don't want to do that. So, it has to be a happy medium. So,
Speaking of those humble beginnings, can you take me back to your start in the sport of running and what your first impressions of the sport were?
yeah, so it's funny. I started in like sixth grade. but COVID took me out, so I didn't get to compete that year. But my cousin Grace went really big in high school. Grace Boone, she's running pro now at Virginia Tech. She's doing really good, and she went really big in high school. When I was sitting there, a little sixth grade me, I was like, okay, I want to give it a shot because I went to one of her meets, and her coach was actually one of my coaches at one point. But he was like, "You're gonna be out here one day, right?" I was like, "I guess so, yeah. I'll try it." So, yeah, I tried to go sixth grade year, it didn't work out, but seventh grade year I got to compete, and then towards the end of that season, I ran 2:10 in the eight, and I was like, okay, well, I mean, that's pretty cool. Maybe I could go with this one day, but to be honest, I was using track as a way to stay in shape for football. I was playing football all the way up through, so I don't know, I kind of just used it as a side thing. I played football all the way up till ninth grade year actually, and I got hurt ninth grade year, and it gave me a concussion, took me out across country states. I was like, okay, well, at that point I'd ran I think 154 in the eight, so I was like, I was progressing. I was like, okay, well maybe this is something I could do. And then I got hurt, realized that I had missed a good shot at going to a state meet. And I was like, all right, maybe this isn't worth it anymore. I mean, I love football, but I had to give it up, and I'm so glad I did because it worked out. But going up through middle school, I didn't really even think too much about it. I was just kind of going out and running. But then about probably 10th grade year, I really started taking it serious and realizing what I could do or what I could push myself to do anyway. And I was just excited to see where I could take myself because I mean, running is a gift, really, and I'm so glad I had this as the or have this gift. Um, it's just been a blessing. I can go out and run a couple miles and see all these beautiful things, and running's taking me to all these big old cities to compete. It's just awesome. So
At what point do you feel like in your head you thought I can be really great at this sport one day? Was it that 210 in seventh grade? Was it an occasion recently? What do you feel like that point was where you thought, oh man, like I have a future in this sport?
I'd say probably indoors last year because I don't know, it was weird. I went to that New Balance meet. It was my first New Balance national meet, and nobody knew who I was. I didn't know who anybody else was. It was weird. Like I didn't know any of the guys that I run with now, and I was in the seventh out of 10th heat in the 800. I was like, okay, I'm just gonna go try to PR, have fun, and then I went out and I hit the track. Gun went off. I was like, oh my gosh, something's happening right now. I came through like I can't remember what time it was. I finished in 151 though. Broke the sophomore national record. I was like, holy crap, like that's a big turning point. Didn't think I had that in me. And then after that, New Balance kind of started that connection with me, and it all went uphill from there. And I don't know. I mean, I knew I was going to be a pretty good high school runner before that, but when I ran that time and everything started picking up with New Balance and even college recruiting, I was like, okay, well, this is serious. Like, I feel like I have something really going for me here, and I was able to start building upon that. And it's the beginning, but we're still going.
Let's talk about March 4th. The 1K, you ran 220.14, set a new national high school indoor record. What did it mean to you to have your first national record? And what's the
Uh,
1K event like as someone who's never run it before?
it was amazing. I still have a hard time believing it, to be honest. All season, I mean, even shoot, since I started running in middle school, we've always talked about breaking Alan Webb's records. And Alan Webb, I have so much respect for that guy because the 1K is an awful event. I love it and hate it at the same time because it's so physically demanding. But if you can master I don't know, the art of almost checking out and being able to leave the pain behind you, I feel like that's kind of where it excelled for me. And that kind of goes back to the mental part of it. I think going into that race, I'd got a new coach about 2 weeks before, and I was able to kind of get some good training in before that race, but there wasn't too much we could have done to prepare myself even more than I already was because I was already in a good spot, but I'd kind of plateaued at 223 the whole season, and I wasn't too happy with that. I wanted the national record, and up until that meet, every time I went to go run the 1K, I was like, all right, I'm going to do it today. I want to break the national record today. And going into that state meet, I was able to bring myself to a point where I could be okay without it again, like being okay with just whatever God's plan has for me. And I was sitting there even praying before the race. I was like, all right, well, I'm here. I'm physically ready. And I'm just going to go out and I'm going to give 100%, 110%. And whatever happens, happens. And if it's not today, it'll be the next day or whatnot. And I felt like I was able to hit the track in a more calm state. And then there, I was just able to go into the race not so fired up. I was able to keep a clear mindset. I was able to have a tunnel vision. And going into like the third lap, I think I even really checked out. Like I don't remember the third lap at all. That was that runner's high that everybody talks about. I was able to kind of hit it and forget about everything else. I didn't think about the pain. I just kept running splits, and then I came through 800 meters and saw 149, which at that point was my PR. And I was like, "Oh my gosh, let's do it!" So from there, I do remember checking back in because I was like, "Holy crap! Like I'm here. Let's go!" And I gave it all I had in the last lap. I kind of died. I ran like I think it was a 29 last split, but I still was able to set myself up good early on in the race to have that opportunity. And I hit the line after that fifth lap, and my hands flew up. I saw 220 on the board. I was like, oh my gosh, I don't even believe it. Because even 220, the number it has some meaning to me. My family has this like, I guess it's a trust code. We say 220 to each other. So if somebody asks you a question and they really like in my family, it's a just a family thing, but they were like, all right, 220, you have to tell the truth. Or if I'm saying 220, they know that I'm telling the truth. Or if I ask them that, they have to tell me. And I don't know, we don't abuse it in any way, like in a bad way, but it's always just had a little bit of meaning to me. My dad and his brothers and cousins kind of brought it up, and then me and my brother learned about it, and we've used it. So it had some connection to me. It has a little bit of meaning. I saw it and I was like, oh my gosh. I walked up the track a little bit. I saw it pop up on the board. And I was like, ooh. But then that lactic sickness hit me, so I went to the middle of the track and I laid down for like 20 minutes. But I don't know. It was just insane. I couldn't believe it. I still don't believe it, to be honest. I didn't know that was in me, but I
I
was
love
so
it.
thankful. Yeah. The guy came
220,
up
the
and
magic number.
it is, yeah. Yeah.
National records will get broken. National championships you'll forever have. A few weeks later, or probably less than a few weeks later, at New Balance National Indoors, you win your first national uh, title, if I'm not mistaken. As a junior, you ran 148.29. What did it mean to win a national title and beat a star-studded field of boys?
Oh, that just added to the stack of blessings, I guess, to the whole season. Because I don't know, I've always dreamt of winning a national record or a national title, and to be honest, going into that race, I was confident, but at the same time, I was a little bit worried just because I just got into a new training plan, just had a new coach. I knew I was in a good spot mentally, so I was able to go into it a little bit calm, but my expectation to win wasn't too crazy high, and that should have probably been better than that because I don't think I should go into a race not expecting the best out of myself. But I was just trying to tell myself, go out, run your splits. If you win, you win. If not, we'll improve on it. Outdoor season, we're gonna have it. So it meant so much to me. I crossed the line, and my parents were up there in the stands. I looked up. I almost wanted to cry. I was like, oh my gosh, I finally did it after this long season of learning a lot of lessons and a lot of things not going my way. It finally happened, and I just couldn't stop like praying, and I couldn't even believe it. I came off the track and I wanted to lay down because I was exhausted, but they were like, "Hey, you have a victory lap," and gave me the banner, and I was like, "Oh gosh, I don't know if I'm gonna make it," but took off around the track. I mean, I was shuffling, but over there, I was just trying to enjoy it because it was so unbelievable. I was blown away. So
A few weeks removed from these performances, also keeping in mind that you're a junior, what do you feel like this shows you in the sense of like raising your ceiling of what you're capable of with the rest of your time in high school?
yeah, I'm just getting started. That's all I really can say. I don't know. I have a really good feeling about where I'm at physically, mentally going into this outdoor season. We've got a pretty good race plan and training plan set up, so I know what I'm gonna do. I know why I'm gonna do it, and then towards the end of the season, I know what I'm going for, and I feel like I'm more in a stable environment because up until this point, I've had 6 high school coaches, and this is my. I don't know, I feel the best about this one because I have a consistent schedule. We know what's going to happen. He's bought in, I'm bought in. We both believe in the plan, and we just know what we got to do. So it's just work from here.
Thoughts on a guy way deep down south, Cooper Lutton-House. I think this is going to be something that people are going to be looking forward to outdoors as well as next year. How exciting to you is it to not be a one-man pony just yet and to have someone that's going to make national meets exciting?
Oh, bring it. And it sucks that he's a Nike guy because we can't go to the same national meet. But we are trying to set up a race or two. I don't know where we're at on that actually, but I want to get in with a race or with him, and I want to go throw down a good time because he's ran an amazing time. He's a stud. He definitely has got something right because when I ran 146 indoors, and I was like, oof, okay, here we go. But oh, I'm excited. I want to meet him. I want to go race against him. I mean, on the track, it's going to be business, but after that, I'm going to shake his hand and congrats, dude. We both ran fast, so I'm excited for it. Yeah.
Goals for this outdoor season. Where's your mind at?
Ah, Lord, I'd say 146 in the 8. I want to get closer, if not break the 4 minute mile. It's funny. This weekend, I actually have to go run a 2 mile. Well, I shouldn't say have to.
Let's
I'm going
go.
to run the 2 mile. We'll see how it goes. Hoping to break 9 at least, but I'm not too worried about it. It's just kind of part of that training plan. We're gonna start with the 2 mile and work our way down to the mile and then to the 800. May run a 400 and a 200. Just have a little bit of fun and see where I'm at. But I like being able to run a good range. So we're gonna build these two sides of training, kind of put them together towards the end of the season, and hopefully go get closer to that national record. So.
You're a guy that clearly wants greatness out of his life. How important is it to you to do things that have never been done before?
That's the goal, I guess. I don't know. I've heard a lot of people tell me I'm kind of hard on myself, and I guess I can see that, but at the same time, I feel like one of my whys, as I was talking about, is that I want to do something that nobody else has done before, and I feel like God gave me this gift to go do these things, and I would be letting the whole thing down if I didn't push myself to go do it, and I feel like that's one of my big whys is just I have this opportunity that some people don't have, and I don't want to take advantage of it, and I have this blessing that I want to go utilize and use not only to push myself as hard as I can and run these times and have fun, but I also want to inspire others, and I want to be that person that people can look to and ask for advice, or if they need anything from me that I can support them on running wise or even mentality wise, because I've gone through a lot, I'd say mentally, and I've got a pretty good understanding on what I can do to kind of help, what I can do to fix some things. And sometimes I have a hard time even listening to myself because I can preach something to somebody and it works for them, but it didn't work for me. But I'm saying it because that's what I've heard people say to me, and I don't know. I just want to be that person. I have the gift of being able to go run, and I don't want to just utilize it for myself, but I want to do it for others because I feel like I owe it to myself to go and take every bit of it and make whatever I can out of it. Because if not, then I'd just be letting myself down. I'd be letting the whole gift down and whatnot. And I don't know. I don't want to waste it because I know that in 30 years, probably running might still be a part of my life, but right now I'm probably having the most fun that I ever will in running, and I don't want to waste it. So I want to be able to kind of just enjoy it and run as fast as I can and be there. So.
You said not letting the gift down. I think that's an excellent framework. How aware are you of the gift that God has placed in your life of the ability to move 1 foot in front of the other? It's like a tongue twister. Super well, and just like the ways that you're able to glorify him through this gift that he's given you.
Oh, it's 100% him because if it weren't for God and his ability to kind of do with my life as he pleases, I wouldn't be here. And the whole running thing, I've gone through a lot, and I've been to the point where I almost didn't want to go anymore, but I was able to kind of take a step back and realize that, this might suck right now, but God is taking you through these trials and tribulations because he knows that this is just going to build me stronger and stronger. And I'm not going to be great unless I go through these. So I have to just take it now because I know one day it will pay off. And God's got a plan for me. And even though right now my body and my mind wants to have the national record right now, I want to win the national title right now, but that might not be his plan. And he might have something greater in store for me. So I have to be patient and know that this is one heck of a gift and that I can't take advantage of it. And I just have to do my part and fulfill it and work as hard as I can. And one day it'll happen. So,
Let's
yeah.
go, man. Get me freaking jacked up. Final question for you. What is the final serious question for you? Then I'll ask you a lighthearted one. What's the final takeaway message? Can be anything to the audience who listen to this podcast, wrapping up their run, their chores, whatever it might be. What do you want people thinking coming out of this conversation?
Don't give up on yourself, but much greater than that, don't give up on God because I feel like that was a big part of my indoor season. I was really close to giving up on myself, and I at one point I didn't have much faith in the plan. I was like, okay, I don't know if this is for me. I don't know if I'm gonna make it much further. But I don't know, I feel like I really grew in my faith this indoor season as well. I was able to step back and I prayed a lot. I learned about myself a lot too. That's the beauty of track and field is if you really want to know who you are, you'll go run and you'll go push yourself to 110% and figure out who you are and do that through God's plan, God's blessing. Give all the glory to him because it's him that put me here. It's him that'll take it away and I don't want to take advantage of it and I just want to go do the best that I can do and I want to be happy at the end of the day and give all the glory to God. So just don't give up.
Cool. Final question for you. The question I ask every single guest on every single podcast. If you had Gordon Ramsay coming over to your house for dinner, what would you choose to make for him on the farm?
I can
Do you
make
guys
a
have
mean
cattle?
peanut butter and jelly sandwich. I don't know. I'm not much of a cook, but I can make a really good peanut butter and jelly sandwich. I'd probably
I
give him
love
one of
it.
those.
I love it. Do you guys have any animals on the farm or no?
Yeah, we do. We actually have a boarding business. I have a twin brother. He's not a runner, but we manage a boarding business for horses. So people will pay us to keep their horses on our land, and we'll take care of them and make hay, keep the fences up kept. My brother's the money guy. He manages all the money and whatnot, but I'm the maintenance guy, so I go out and make sure the fences are up and
Get some cross training in.
yeah, yeah.
Get some gym sessions in. Yeah,
Oh
I love
yeah,
it,
get
man.
out there and lift around and stuff. But it's been awesome. So yeah, we're on a horse farm. Yeah.
It's amazing. It's amazing. Do you guys watch the Kentucky Derby at all or no?
We it's we did one year. We went up to go watch it in person actually.
Oh,
But
really?
yeah, we're not actually too much into like horse racing. We're more rodeo, like western kind of stuff. So my dad actually used to rope. He was a team roper. And he was in rodeo and all that, and he actually did really good. He won a dually truck at one point and a bunch of money with it, and he was big time. And then he had us, and sports kind of took over our lives, so he moved away from it. But horses are still a big part of our life, and I love living out on a farm. It's quiet out here, and I mean I love going to those cities, but you can't beat this. So it's nice to be able
Solitude.
to come out here, yeah, have our peace. So.
Well, Cole, thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy life and schedule to talk with me, share all the insights that you did. You're so easy to root for, man, and it's so exciting you're a junior because I know big things are ahead. And I know I'd look at your career optimistically if you were a senior, but the fact that you have like a year and a quarter left to further cement your name in history is really exciting. So excited for more conversations down the road after you break records, win titles, the whole nine yards, and keep crushing, man.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.